So I just finished my longest fast to date, 7 days. No food, mostly water, and a cup or two of black coffee. So how'd it go? What were my results? Did my hunger kick in and go rah, 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 rah? Did I cut weight, drop my blood sugar, improve my blood pressure, get headaches, feel weak, dizzy, strong, euphoric, and experience that infamous God mode where I felt invincible, super strong, and at peace with myself as if I was immortal? Well, the answer is yes and no. My name's Jared. I'm 48 years old, athletic, and a vegetarian. I also have high blood pressure, and I'm pre-diabetic. I know, a lot, right? But more on those things later. I've done intermittent fasting, OMAD, and a few 5-day fasts, but I've never done a 7-day fast. So why'd I do it? Well, I had an upcoming doctor's appointment to check my A1C, and I wanted to do a total reset. I mean, resetting my blood sugar, blood pressure, gut microbiome, increase my insulin sensitivity, do an immune system reset, and reduce some joint pain and inflammation. But an important thing to note is that I did not do this to lose weight. You'll understand why in a little bit. Now, before we go any further, disclaimer, I'm just an active guy who's been fat, who's been lean, who's battled high blood pressure, pre-diabetes, and just plain getting older. This is a video about some of the things that have worked for me, but I am not a doctor. Please consult your physician and do your own research prior to you starting any type of fasting regimen. So today I want to talk about 4 things: the result of my 7-day fast, how I felt on each of the 7 days, what I ate to break my 7-day fast safely so I didn't accidentally give myself a heart attack from refeeding syndrome, for real, by the way, and lastly, if I would do it again. Now, you don't need to have any tools to do a long fast, but I recommend using these things if possible. The first thing is a glucose meter like this fingerstick model, or you can use a CGM just like this one that I'm wearing that's going to monitor your blood sugar 24/7. I also recommend a blood pressure monitor and some ketone reader strips if possible, and maybe even a smartwatch for extra stats. All of these things allow you to monitor your health so that you can stop if anything looks off or dangerous. So what were my results? In terms of weight, I went from 192 pounds and 24.7% body fat down to 173.8 pounds and 21.9% body fat. This means that I dropped 18.2 pounds in 7 days, which is insane. My fat mass went from 47.4 pounds to 38.1 pounds, or down 9.3 pounds. My lean mass went from 144.6 pounds to 135.7 pounds, or a drop of 8.9 pounds. So all in all, this suggests that I lost equal amounts of fat and lean mass. But I'll do a video of what happened during the 7 days after I broke my fast so we can check those stats, and it'll be linked right here when available. In terms of blood sugar, I was at about 100 milligrams the morning after I started my fast. From there, it slowly decreased as my body began to deplete my glycogen stores. By Thursday, my readings were starting to get low, and then they were actually low from about day 4 onward. But my levels stayed steady and consistent as my body turned to burning fat for energy. What about blood pressure? In the beginning, I had a few days where it was higher than normal, but then it came down and stayed low for the remainder of my fast. We had a tax deadline on October the 15th, so I'm not sure if I was stressed. I was stressed. But that could have been why my beginning numbers were off. During my 7 days, I did not consume over 14,357 calories. If we translate that into fat loss, it means that I should have lost about 4.16 pounds of fat, which would be a good jump start towards dropping some weight before we get into the new year. And inflammation, I did notice some decrease in joint pain, in particular one of my feet that had been a little bit angry at me lately, but maybe that was because I was been running too much. On day 8, I had my A1C checked. The results came back and I was pretty happy. My A1C has fallen from 6.1 to 5.7 in about 2 years and 6 months. So I'm 0.1 point away from not being considered pre-diabetic anymore, and I attribute a lot of that to all the fasting that I've done during that time. So how did I feel each day? Day 1, Tuesday, I felt normal. I hit my OMAD time and didn't really notice anything. I even went swimming that night, but this was my last major activity as I plan to not exercise for the rest of my fast. I wanted to give my body some time to just focus on fasting. Day 2, Wednesday, this is when I started getting cold, and I also developed a slight nagging headache at bedtime. This is common when going from glucose burning mode to fat or ketone burning mode. And then there was the bathroom. I had to go to the bathroom a lot. During a long fast, you burn through glucose, which is bound to water, which means many drop massive weight early on. But that weight loss is mostly water, and it tends to come back when you break your fast. And TMI, this was the last day that I had to go until I broke my fast, which I must admit was kind of weird. This was also the day that I had one of my few high blood pressure readings. Day 3, Thursday. I still had a headache, but it started to break. I slept minimal going into Friday, like just under 5 hours, and it was super broken. I was still going to the bathroom a lot, and I had another high blood pressure reading. Day 4, Friday. By this time, I had no headache or hunger. I was fairly focused. I did find it hard to move fast at times. I stopped feeling cold, my blood pressure started dropping, and my glucose started dipping below 70. Day 5, Saturday. My muscles felt really heavy, and I felt like I had no power. It took a lot of effort to move with force. I did have an active and social day with some errands, and I was able to do them all. My glucose was trending below 60, and my blood pressure was edging towards 100. Day 6, Sunday. I had some sporadic hunger, but nothing serious. I was on my feet all day, but I had plenty of energy. I also had some occasional hunger pains, but it was easy to let them pass. Day 7 and day 8, the day that I actually broke my fast, were pretty much the same as day 6. I had decent energy, mental clarity, and occasionally I had some hunger pains. But honestly, I think the hunger was just because I was anticipating being able to eat food again. So what did I eat to break my fast? If you're gonna do a long fast, like something that's like 72 hours or longer, it helps to do certain things. If possible, decrease your carbs going into your fast. It makes for a smoother and easier transition. Once you've started the fast, make sure you stay hydrated, but don't drink too much in a 1-hour window as you could cause hyponatremia. Make sure that you use salt, either iodized or Himalayan, and some electrolytes to stay balanced. So I used this one mostly during my fast. However, when I broke my fast, I was using things like Scratch and Gatorlights. You can use Element as well. I didn't use those during the fast because they contain sugar, and this particular one has no sugar, but it has all the electrolytes that you'll need. Also, try to take it easy during the latter days, meaning don't push too hard. Maybe just some modest exercise like walking each day. When breaking your fast, make sure you do so slowly. Something like MCT oil, eggs, healthy fats, steamed cruciferous veggies, and try to avoid binging or eating too many carbs. You can cause an imbalance in the essential elements like sodium, potassium, phosphorus, and magnesium, and accidentally cause refeeding syndrome, which could actually kill you. Don't believe me? Go look it up. And the other risk of going back to old habits too quickly is that you tick off your tummy and you have to spend a lot of time visiting the porcelain throne. Me, I had none of that because I broke my fast slowly.
As soon as my fast ended, I had 2 tablespoons of MCT oil. MCT oil is easy to digest and tells your digestive system to start working again, and it tastes super yummy after not having food for 7 days. 2 hours later, I made some easy to digest soup using some carrots, white onion, broccoli, and some kimchi and sauerkraut. Kimchi and sauerkraut are both fermented foods with probiotic, antioxidant, and anti-inflammatory benefits that support gut, immune, and heart health. They're also rich in vitamins and fiber. When breaking a fast, avoid highly processed foods, sugary and fried foods, caffeine, and nuts. These can cause digestive upset like bloating and discomfort, blood sugar spikes, and negate the benefits of fasting. The goal is to ease back into eating with gentle, easily digestible foods. So for my last meal, I had some scrambled eggs with more kimchi and sauerkraut. And oh yeah, it tasted delicioso. For dessert, I had more fermented foods in the form of some dill pickles with seasoning. For day 2, I started with some digestive greens. This was the Wild Berry Bliss flavor, and it has 7-in-1 daily gut support in the form of 39 superfoods, 29 antioxidants, 24 vitamins and minerals, and 6 digestive enzymes. 24 hours into breaking my fast, I can now start to add fats back into my diet, so I had some avocado with seasoning and olive oil for my breakfast. Eating high-fat foods after a long fast can cause digestive issues like bloating, nausea, and diarrhea, so I chose avocado because while high in fat, it's a small nutrient-dense meal. And I had some digestive enzymes just to help my stomach out. For lunch, I took a probiotic. This has 80 billion CFUs and 15 probiotic strains. I then took this Chobani zero-sugar Greek yogurt and made a berry bowl. This had blueberries, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, and cinnamon for its blood sugar and anti-inflammatory benefits. Look at that yummy in my tummy dance, folks. For dinner, I finished off with some carrots, hummus, and kefir. Kefir is known as the champagne of the dairy world because of its complexity of probiotics and good bacteria associated with many health benefits. And if you've never had it, it's super tangy and sour, which is 10 times stronger after a 7-day fast, but it tasted oh so good, and I almost drank the whole bottle. Is that a milk mustache? By day 3, I was back to eating normal, so me and a tax colleague went out to breakfast, and I had this yummy veggie skillet. Oh, so delicious.
So basically, get some probiotics and fermented food for days 1 and 2. Start back to a light, normal routine on day 3. Your body will absorb what you take in quickly, so feed it mostly good stuff if you can. Now, before I talk about if I would do it again, tell me your thoughts, especially if you've already done fasting. Would you do it again? What would you change if you were to? And if you're new to fasting or considering it, feel free to ask your questions below. I promise to respond to them all. So would I do it again and why? Do I recommend fasting? The short answer is yes. It's a good way to reset mentally and physically, restore your health, reduce inflammation and joint pain, and improve metabolic function. Your palate may also change, and you might not want to eat traditional junk food as much. I've had this happen several times when I travel internationally, as foreign cuisine usually isn't as processed as it is here in America. Extended fasting is also a way that you can break your dependence on food. Let's face it, we live in a food-driven culture, but fasting can make it so that you don't want to eat as much. And life can be pretty simplistic if you're not always planning around meals. And you can even save money. Dang on tariffs on my beloved avocados. I typically do intermittent fasting every week with some OMAD, 36 hours every few weeks, and a long fast like 5 or 7 days once or twice a year to help me reset. And for your fast, my wish is that you stay grounded, stay healthy, and remember that the only one keeping you from reaching your full potential is you.